Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you. PDP returns to Supreme Court over Buhari's victory. Seeks review of judgment, including that of Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, Osun gubernatorial election. APC dismisses move as a joke. With what has been happening recently, it has really, strengthening the faith of people in democracy and the rule of law. Since Showare's issue and the government came, America came and said Nigeria has no rule of law. And if they don't take caution or take it seriously, they could have sanctions. And what sanctions means is that they could be denied some global rights that could be due them. And so PDP, since then, Buhari you could see him more vocal and trying to speak up. And the judiciary system in the land is being obeyed gradually, because, Showore was head and they had an injunction. The court gave an order for him to be released. Yet the DSS, the police force, would not release him until, the issue got out of hand and the United States got involved. As soon as the United States signed by House members, 5 House members precisely, he was immediately released. And so after that, we had the case of Bayelsa, which case was turned, and a host of others that has gradually been going on. So now PDP is returning to court as regarding Buhari's victory to contest that, not just Buhari's victory, but also that of Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, Osun, and some more. Let's go to the news and hear what he has to say. The People Democratic Party, PDP, has demanded reviews of the Supreme Court judgment on the 2019 presidential polls for Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, and Osun gubernatorial election. The Supreme Court has affirmed President Muhammadu as winner and equally uphold the election of the All Progressive Congress APC candidate in Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, and Osun states. This is coming on the heels of the demand by the APC for a review of the Apex Court judgment on the Zamfara and Bayelsa state governorship polls, where the Supreme Court awarded victory to the PDP. After the PDP candidates in Imo governorship contest, Emeka Ihedua applied to the Apex Court to review his judgment, sacking him as governor. The APC equally approached the Supreme Court seeking a review of the verdict on Zamfara and Bayelsa gubernatorial polls. However, PDP National Publicity Secretary Kola has, at a press conference briefing in Abuja yesterday, said the APC was allegedly piling pressure on the justice of the Supreme Court to reverse the judgment on Zamfara Bayelsa state governorship contest. Kola said, whereas the losses of the ruling party in Zamfara Bayelsa were self-inflicted, there was a consensus that there was obvious miscarriage of justice in the Imo gubernatorial dispute. Nigerians know that the APC has been going through a hemorrhage since the Supreme Court delivered verdict judgment on Bayelsa and Zamfara. And as a result, they are no longer interested in the logic of this judgment. They have since threw caution to the wind to destabilize our nation and destroy our hand-earned democracy, especially the judiciary system. The APC federal government is leading all forms of battle against the rule of law and constitutionalization. However, the PDP finds it delirious, ridiculous, and insulting to the sensibility and respect of the Supreme Court justice for the APC to hurriedly and malevolently head to the Supreme Court to attempt to hand-twist the Lord's judgment to effect a forceful reversal of the verdict. Flawless and faultless judgment on Bayelsa and Zamfara states governorships election. Consequently, the National Working Committee of the PDP, after comprehensive construction, stated that our party has no choice left given the manner the APC has conducted itself, then to ask for a review of the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, where the issue of certificate forgery and or presentation of false information in aid of qualifications was clearly established against the APC and her presidential candidates. The same applies to the judgment on the Katsina governorship election petition, where lawyers also established similar issue of certificate forgery. The PDP equally has no choice than to ask the Supreme Court to review the Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina election judgments because of manifest violence and sustainability not comprehensive to our electoral law. The PDP also asked the Supreme Court to review its judgment on Osun governorship election in review of manifest, complete, and total disregard to our electoral rules in the conduct of the election, he said. Reacting, the APC National Publicity Secretary Malami said initials has become PDP pastime. We call for the PDP asking the Supreme Court to review its ruling on the presidential election and governorship election in Osun, Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina State has once again expressed joke, and the opposition party has turned itself into a national political space of joke. Never in history, in our democratic journey, has a political party made mockery of what is responsible opposite politics entitlement. The PDP's call has once again enforced our party belief that the PDP has become a clown and the wheels of our nation political evolution. For the APC, PDP last antics is not a surprise. Nigerians will recall that we have consequently retaliated that the opposition party have been overwhelmingly rejected at the polls in 2015 and 2019 and has been exhibiting strange behaviors. We believe it has been difficult for some leaders of PDP to scoop for a long time outside of power. There is obviously a loss of idleness at the House Secretariat of the PDP. At this point, that our government is working hard to ensure food sufficiency in the country. We urge those jobless characters at the House of and at the, we urge those jobless characters at the Wedita House of Seriousness consider taking up rice farming. This would make them useful for our country, PDP has said. So it's good that our judiciary system is beginning to gain some acceptance and, being reliable. And so they are calling for a review of President Muhammadu Buhari's, presidential wins, because we all know Nigerians that they say this might not get results. I be get if you get make it shwamo. Because this result forgery is predominantly prevalent in the APC. We can see it in the case of Zamfara, in the case of Bayelsa. That was what disqualified them, result forgery. And these people have served in one capacity or the other in very high position in the country. But APC did not deem it fit to check on these people to make sure that they are qualified, that things are in order. And so when it came to governorship, where where everybody put on lenses to watch their opponents, they were fished out. And so now, based on result forgery, PDP is calling for the presidential review, because we all know that the person of alleged Jubrim is yet to produce his results to Nigerians, and there were a lot of false documents that were put in So I think this is a very welcome, good development. I want to call on the international community to also have an eye, oversight, and be interested in this issue so we can get to the bottom of it. So when we get to the bottom of it, this man can be out of office and Nigerian can move forward. I want to say a big thank you to all of you out there listening. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Click on the notification button so we can keep you up to date with all that is going on in Nigeria. You have a voice. Please use it. Don't allow anyone push you aside. Thanks for listening. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have a lovely